The movie begins with Simon talking about his life. At first glance, everything seems pretty great. His parents are still madly in love, just like when they were high school sweethearts. He gets along with his little sister. He's got everything he needs: love, comfort, and a close group of friends. Two of them, Nick and Leah, have been with him since kindergarten. The newest addition, Abby, may be a recent friend, but she already feels like family. Simon has what looks like a normal, happy teenage life. But there's one thing he keeps hidden from everyone. He's sitting in his room, looking out the window. In the driveway, the gardener is working. Simon finds himself staring. He notices his arms, the muscles, the way they flex. He knows he shouldn't look, but he can't help it. His daydream is suddenly cut short. His dad walks in, sees him staring at the screen, and jokes that he's probably watching something inappropriate. Simon laughs awkwardly, not because he's embarrassed about being caught, but because his dad naturally assumes he's looking at girls. That assumption stings a little. His dad leaves, telling him to come downstairs because his sister made pancakes. Downstairs, the house is buzzing. His mom teases him for sleeping in. His sister is panicking about her homemade fruit topping. Simon grabs his breakfast and heads out, catching the gardener's eye again on the way to his car. He waves and tries to say something, but the leaf blower drowns him out. Simon cringes at himself and hurries away, wondering why he even tried. On the way to school, he picks up Nick first. Nick immediately starts talking about a weird dream he had. Then they get Leah, who brings up Creek secrets, a gossip page for their high school. She says someone was caught hooking up with another student in the pool. All three of them cringe at the story, and Simon keeps driving. They stop for coffee. Nick checks their order to make sure Abby's drink is right. When they pick her up, she jumps in the car, smiling. The group starts breaking down Nick's strange dream. Abby playfully suggests that maybe the dream means Nick is missing something obvious. Simon starts to feel nervous. The topic is getting too close to something personal. He quickly turns the volume up on the radio. It's clear that Simon's secret, his sexuality, is always on his mind. He hasn't told anyone yet, and moments like these make him feel like he's always hiding. At school, a boy named Ethan, who's openly gay and very confident in his style, is getting picked on by a group of bullies. He snaps back with clever comebacks, but Simon can tell he's affected. As Simon and his friends walk past, they say nothing. They feel bad but don't stop. Inside, the school's assistant principal is waiting at the entrance, collecting students' phones. It's school policy: no phones during class hours. Simon chats with Abby about the upcoming school play. They're both in it. Suddenly, Martin, a loud and awkward guy, walks up and tries too hard to impress Abby. She isn't interested and quickly finds an excuse to leave. Simon follows her, leaving Martin standing alone in the hallway. That evening, it's family movie night. Simon's mom picks a movie that's a bit too adult, and both kids protest. She laughs and calls them prudes, and their dad agrees with her. The two parents high-five, clearly proud of being open and relaxed. Simon feels uncomfortable. Their free-spirited attitude sometimes feels too much. Then, during a conversation about a character in a show they're watching, Simon's dad casually says he thinks the character is fruity, implying he's gay. He doesn't say it with any hate, but Simon still freezes. Hearing his dad describe someone that way, even jokingly, makes Simon feel small and nervous. Later, his dad asks for help with a project. It's their wedding anniversary soon, and he's put together a slideshow. But it's terrible. Simon jokes that it looks like something a little kid made. He gives his dad some tips on how to fix it. They share a quiet moment, but Simon still keeps his truth hidden. That night, while doing homework, Simon gets a call from Leah. There's a new post on Creek Secrets. Someone anonymous has just confessed they're gay. Simon quickly hangs up the call. He wants to read the post alone. The person who posted goes by the name Blue. They share an image of a Ferris wheel and explain how life feels like a constant up and down ride. They say they can't tell anyone who they really are. Simon is shocked. Someone else at his school feels just like he does. He decides to write back. Simon creates a fake email and sends Blue a message. He tells him about his life, carefully choosing his words. He still can't say "I'm gay" out loud, even in an email, but Blue will understand. At the end, he signs the email Jack, keeping his identity hidden. The next morning, Simon wakes up and immediately checks his phone. He's desperate to see if Blue replied, but nothing. Not yet. He spends the whole day thinking about that email, hoping for a response that will finally make him feel less alone. He checks his email constantly, heart racing every time his phone lights up. There's a new gay kid at school, someone who calls himself Blue, and Simon's been messaging him anonymously. The possibility of a connection, of someone who understands him, is overwhelming. Lunchtime can't come fast enough, but even then, the Wi-Fi is spotty. He slips away from the table, desperate to find better signal, only to be caught in the hallway by the deputy principal. His phone is swiftly confiscated. The man says he likes Simon, but rules are rules. He won't get his phone back until after drama practice. At rehearsal, the mood is chaos. The play's a mess. Timing's off, no one's motivated, and the drama teacher is on the verge of a breakdown. Simon's barely present. His nerves annoy Abby, and as soon as practice ends, he bolts to retrieve his phone. The vice principal hands it over with a meaningful look. He says he sees a lot of himself in Simon and offers an open-door policy if Simon ever needs to talk. But Simon's too anxious to care. He just wants to read Blue's reply. In the privacy of his car, he finally opens the message. Blue asks if he's told anyone their secret. Simon replies later from home, admitting he hasn't. Not to his liberal parents, not to his friends. Not even to himself, fully. He recalls running away from his girlfriend at a school dance the moment he realized he liked boys. He writes and rewrites the email ending, unsure how to sign off. Eventually, he goes with just Jack. As their bond deepens, so does Simon's curiosity. Blue and Simon begin sharing more personal details. Music, memories, tiny pieces of their lives. Simon starts scanning the hallways at school, looking for clues, matching traits from Blue's emails to faces in the crowd. Halloween is coming. They joke about costumes. Blue mentions loving the special orange Oreos that come out in October. Simon, replying from a school library computer, is interrupted by the vice principal again. In his rush, he forgets to log out of the anonymous email account. Enter Martin. He spots Simon leaving the library and hops on the same computer. Curiosity wins. He finds the entire email thread between Simon and Blue, and screenshots everything. At lunch, Simon's eating Oreos when Bram, Nick's friend from football, casually mentions he loves the Halloween ones. Simon freezes. Could Bram be Blue? Bram then invites the whole group to his Halloween party. Everyone's excited, except Simon. He's now obsessing over Bram, watching him in class, imagining him writing Blue's heartfelt words, the confessions about wanting to kiss him. Simon's feelings for Blue are no longer just virtual. They're real. The party looms, but the pressure mounts. In drama club, Simon and Abby are painting set pieces when he leaves for a soda. Martin follows. He reveals he knows Simon's secret and blackmails him. If Simon doesn't help him get closer to Abby, he'll out him and scare Blue away. Simon is horrified, violated, but not ready to face the fallout. He reluctantly agrees. He tells Martin to change his style, his attitude, anything to have a shot with Abby. But it's a lost cause. As a last-ditch attempt, Simon invites him to the Halloween party. Party night. Simon and Leah arrive in matching costumes. Abby's outfit is bold, and Leah feels out of place. Martin shows up in a dress. Awkwardness floods the group. On the drive over, Nick and Abby flirt. Martin is visibly annoyed. Simon's tension climbs. At the party, Bram greets them. Simon's nerves spike again. When Nick confides that he wants to ask Abby out, Simon panics. That would ruin Martin's chances, and Martin would expose him. So he lies, saying Abby already has a boyfriend. Nick is hurt. He wanders off to drink, while Simon is riddled with guilt. But he sees no other option. Bram invites him to play beer pong. Simon jumps at the chance. He hopes the game will bring them closer, and maybe even open the door to ask Bram if he's Blue. Abby and Martin reluctantly join the game. Surprisingly, they all have fun. The drinks flow. In no time, Simon's tipsy and yelling into a karaoke mic, working up the courage to confront Bram, to finally ask the question that's been haunting him. Are you Blue? Simon walks into a bedroom at a party, only to catch Bram making out with a girl. Embarrassed, he quickly backs out, feeling confused. He tells himself he must have been wrong about Bram, but the moment leaves him shaken. Lee notices something is off and takes Simon home. When they arrive, Simon panics. His parents are still awake and he's drunk. But Lee isn't worried. She knows Simon's parents are laid back. Sure enough, they let them head straight to Simon's room without question. Later that night, when Simon is sobering up, Lee opens up. She admits that she often feels like an outsider. Like she's too serious and can't just let go like everyone else. There's someone she likes, but no matter what, she can't seem to reach him. Simon, unaware of her true feelings, tries to comfort her, thinking she's talking about Nick. Lee is disappointed. She's unsure if Simon is gently rejecting her or if he's just completely oblivious. She goes to sleep confused and heartbroken. Simon, still drunk, writes an email to Blue. He talks about Lee's confession and wonders why he hasn't come out to his friends yet. Feeling emotional, he ends the email with, "Love, Jack?" A mistake that jolts him awake the moment he hits send. Has he revealed too much? At school, the drama club talks about their Christmas plans. Martin pulls Simon aside and threatens to expose him again. Nervous, Simon tries to keep things under control and suggests the three of them, Simon, Martin, and Abby, go to Waffle House after school to run lines. While at the diner, Simon notices the waiter, Lyle, who also goes to their school. He's friendly, almost too friendly. The way Lyle talks makes Simon wonder, could he be Blue? Then right after Lyle walks away and puts his phone away, Simon's phone buzzes. It's a message from Blue. Simon's heart races. The timing feels like a clue. Meanwhile, Abby and Martin bond a bit more. Abby opens up about her past, how her father abandoned her and her mother, and how hard it was to move to Creekwood. Martin listens with surprising sensitivity, and for the first time, Abby seems to see a gentler side of him. Still distracted by Lyle, Simon follows him outside during his break. They make small talk, and Lyle seems nice, but just when Simon starts to believe he's figured it out, things don't quite add up. Later, as they're leaving, Simon drives Abby home. She asks if he's ever been in love. Inspired by Blue and tired of hiding, Simon blurts out the truth. He's gay. Abby smiles warmly and reassures him. He exhales deeply. He finally said the words out loud, and it feels like a massive weight has been lifted. Later, he tells Blue in an email about coming out to Abby. He ends the message by asking if they could meet in person. Come out together, maybe. But Blue replies that he's not ready. Frustrated, Simon feels like he's stuck again. Meanwhile, Nick tells Simon he's going to confess his feelings to Abby, no matter if she has a boyfriend. But Simon, still trying to protect Leah's feelings, misleads Nick, saying that Abby likes Martin and suggesting that maybe he should consider Leah instead since she's in love with him. Nick believes him and asks Leah out. Leah tells Simon about the date, hoping he'll stop her, hoping he'll finally see how she feels. But Simon seems genuinely happy, thinking his two best friends are getting together. Leah, realizing Simon truly doesn't understand, agrees to go on the date anyway, even though it breaks her heart. At the homecoming football game, Abby and Simon are laughing together, making jokes about how tight the players' pants are. Simon spots Lyle again and walks over, still wondering if he might be Blue. But Lyle only has eyes for Abby, and Simon's hopes are crushed. Then Martin shows up, asking Simon for advice. Still frustrated and distracted, Simon brushes him off and gives him bad advice. Feeling desperate and alone, Martin runs onto the field before the game begins, grabs the microphone from the singer, and publicly confesses his feelings for Abby. In front of the entire stadium, he asks her out. Abby, mortified, rejects him as gently as she can, but she's clearly embarrassed. Martin storms off, humiliated. Simon's bad advice has backfired, and now Martin's become the latest target of school gossip. Soon after, Martin's face is all over Creek Secrets, the school gossip site. Everyone is mocking him. Feeling guilty, Simon tries to call and apologize, but gets no response. Around this time, Blue sends one last email before the Christmas break, saying he'll be off the grid for a while. He's going to his dad's cabin. Simon remembers that one of the drama students mentioned going to a cabin for the holidays. Could it be the same person? He gets hopeful again and sends Blue a Christmas playlist, dreaming about finally meeting him and maybe sharing a kiss under the mistletoe. But then the worst happens. Unable to deal with the public ridicule, Martin goes through with his threat. During the Christmas holidays, he uploads all of Simon's private emails to Creek Secrets, outing Simon to the entire school. Simon's phone blows up with calls. Leah tries reaching out, but he doesn't answer. His younger sister comes into his room, confused, asking about what she read. Simon panics. Feeling cornered, he emails Blue, knowing he won't get a reply anytime soon, but needing to explain. He begs Blue not to disappear, not now, not when he needs him the most. On Christmas Day, Simon finally tells his parents the truth. They react better than he feared. His dad makes a few awkward jokes, but overall, they accept him with love. Still, he doesn't speak to any of his friends over the break. Simon is shattered. Everything he feared would happen has happened. Everyone knows. And now he's terrified that Blue, his only safe space, is going to disappear forever. Desperate, he writes to Blue again, begging him to reply. He just needs to know that there's still someone who understands him, someone who doesn't see him any differently, someone who feels safe. The first day back at school, Simon pulls up outside Nick's house. Nick, Leah, and Abby are hanging out. But the moment Simon gets out of the car, everything feels wrong. There's a wall between them now. Nick tells him the news. He and Abby are finally together. But that's not all. They figured it out. Simon had been playing puppet master behind the scenes, trying to keep his secret while nudging them around like chess pieces. Simon tries to explain, but Nick is furious. He storms off. Abby looks at him, disappointment written all over her face. She's hurt that he lied to her, that he pushed her toward Martin, someone she never liked, just to keep his own secret safe. Then Leah breaks. She tells him the truth. It was always him. She had feelings for him, and even if he didn't feel the same way, he shouldn't have set her up with Nick. That hurt the most. She walks away, leaving Simon standing alone. At lunch, things get worse. Two bullies mock Simon and Ethan by dressing up like them and pretending to make out on a cafeteria table. Simon is furious and ready to fight, but the drama teacher steps in just in time. Later, Simon and Ethan are called into the vice principal's office. While they wait, Ethan opens up. He talks about his own struggles, how hard it's been with his family. He says that even though they're not friends, Simon can talk to him if he needs someone. It's the first time someone says that without judgment. When Simon heads to his car, Martin shows up. He tries to apologize, but Simon explodes. Martin stole his choice. He wasn't ready, and Martin forced it all into the open. Simon tells him off and leaves him standing there, ashamed. At home, the pain keeps coming. Blue finally replies, but not the message Simon wants. Blue says he can't keep talking to him. Everything is too real now. When Simon tries to write back, the email bounces. Blue's gone. In one last effort, Simon asks the guy from the drama club if he's Blue. He's not. He's kind, even asks if Simon wants to talk, but it doesn't matter. Simon's final clue has vanished. He feels completely lost. That night, Simon talks to his mom. She tells him she always knew he was hiding something, but didn't want to push. Now she regrets not saying something sooner. Tears fill her eyes as she tells him. Now he finally gets to breathe, to exhale. He can be himself now. Simon is comforted, and he decides it's time to make things right. He finds Leah walking her dog and tells her the truth. He didn't tell anyone because he was in love with Blue. If Martin had leaked the emails, he would have scared Blue away. Simon just wanted to keep that one part of his world safe, even if it meant pushing his friends away. Leah understands. She's still hurt, but she's ready to forgive him. Back at home, Simon's dad is taking down the Christmas lights. He asks Simon how long he's known. Then he breaks down, feeling awful for never realizing. For making jokes that probably hurt without meaning to. He tells Simon he loves him and wouldn't change a thing. Simon is overwhelmed, but relieved. The next day, Simon posts on Creek Secrets, this time in his own name. He tells the whole school who he is and why he kept it hidden. He apologizes to his friends and admits he made mistakes. Then he writes directly to Blue. He doesn't know what Blue looks like or what his real name is, but he knows who he is inside. He's someone afraid, just like him. He tells Blue he'll be waiting for him at the carnival on Friday night, at the top of the Ferris wheel. And then, Simon waits. The school play actually goes well. Afterward, Nick, Leah, and Abby come to him. They've read his post. They're ready to forgive. They ask if he wants to go to the carnival. At the fair, Simon buys a roll of tickets and gets on the Ferris wheel alone. He waits. People start gathering, filming, cheering him on. But ride after ride, Blue doesn't show. Simon starts to think maybe he won't. Then Martin shows up. He claims to be Blue, but Simon knows it's a lie. Martin admits it. He just couldn't let Simon sit there alone. He hands over one more ticket, enough for one last ride. As Simon is about to go again, Bram runs up. He wants to sit with Simon. Simon's confused. He had ruled Bram out a long time ago, but Bram explains. That night at the party, he was scared, confused. Nothing happened with the girl. He was Blue. All along. He didn't think he could do this, but when he saw Simon waiting, something in him changed. Both of them fix things together. The next morning, Simon heads out the door, bantering with his family. He grabs breakfast, hops into the car, then head off to school.